science. Today is such a great day, but you know, I heard it's supposed to snow. What kinds of things do we need to bring if it starts to snow? Those types of things. The math.
But for some people, it's like getting them in a routine because they don't do
And
it
that's
now,
if
so I'm
you
trying to
read-
introduce, okay, try this once a day. See
If
how
you
it
read
is.
your tool, you'll see, and so that was the thing about display, they're supposed to talk about the display. Well, how can providers get used to talking about the display? So they need to think, what's gonna work really well for me? When's a good time for me to build that into my schedule? When is a good time for me to make sure that I talk about nature or science during the day? When is a good time for me to do math talk? We need to see it during routines and we need to see it during play. So how can I build those things in? So they're all in the tool. It's just really going through and reading, which is a really good way to study for your certification, is to go through and read that. So if you're studying for a certification, you can be making that list at the same time and you'll get two things done.
And you'll see some of that on the score sheet. Again, in the back of this book is a copy of the score sheet, and it'll give you like 5.3, observed once.
Right.
Something else, observed twice, 2 interactions with fine motor materials, and it gives you a place to list 1 and 2.
Daily nature and science, what kind of a conversation did you hear about that? Because you need to observe it. So it'll have a space for you. So if you look at the score sheet and read the indicators in there, you'll see that those are already built in.
I just was thinking as far as coaching, helping them.
The best way is really to dig into the tool and know what some of those things are, because then it's easier for you to say, you know, well, in here, the intent of this is that we're gonna do these kinds of things. So here's where it says, let's have these daily conversations. And so then you're using the tool with them, you're using verbiage from the tool, and you're helping them be able to, when you're not around, get this book and look through it and find that information that they need. Because ultimately what we want is for them to be able to use these tools whether they have coaching or not. They might not always have you available to them, so they need to be able to access
Find it.
this.
Empowering them to look for
Yeah,
it.
that's what we're trying to do.
So the other thing I wanted to point out that we see often in homes, only because it is more accessible than in the Eckers classrooms or the ITERs, is the use of TV. I have one provider. I said, so when do the children get to watch the TV? Well, I always have to watch the news from 6 to 7 in the morning, so I'm like, and you have kids that come at that time? She said, yes. That was actually marked a 1, because what are they talking about the first 20 minutes on the news? Killings, shootings, blah, 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 blah. Kids will need to be exposed to that. They also have programs that said, well, we always put on a cartoon at mealtime. They have children under the age of 2.
So if I had someone ask me if the infant is spaced away from the TV, does that count?
They can still hear it.
Yeah. And then also asked, they use Spotify, which I guess has images on the TV. I don't know what it is. It doesn't sound like it's a music video. It sounds more like just a,
Baby Einstein type thing, where they just watch the different images.
well, she was saying that she plays music, but through her TV, Spotify, or,
Or if they can hear it, it's different, but there's something
There's
animated
stuff
that's
on the
moving that they're
screen.
watching.
Just like that box that bounces around, or
It's
like
it's
one
just
image.
music, I think.
So I wouldn't
so
count
they
that
can't
as
do
TV.
that. Okay, you wouldn't count that.
No. But if there's images like Baby Einstein or whatever that they're watching on the TV, then they don't get credit. They have
But if the
opportunities to
infant is
change
in the
that.
room, even if it is spaced,
I guess, you know, if we're looking at best practices, do we know that the infant's always gonna be faced away? And
Yeah.
if the infant's always faced away, are they facing anything that they need? Like, can they see their peers? Can they?
Plus it says children under 24 months.
Right,
So what do they do when they can turn themselves?
yeah,
Are you still gonna keep them in a high chair so they can't look? Are you
right.
gonna stop their head from going like this? Because that's what they're gonna do, especially if all their friends are watching. So,
So,
best practice for all the kids is what we're looking for.
I mean, obviously providers are gonna be able to make choices based on what they feel is best. We're just gonna give them information and try to give them the why about those things. We know that kids get lots of screen time already, so do we need to add to that?
So maybe we should talk about active physical play at that neighborhood park.
Yeah, the neighborhood park, because that's a safe place.
It is? How do you know?
Because I've been by all of them and they're so safe.
And how do we usually get to that park?
Have you see that also in this park that has that giant slide that ends at a little 3-foot concrete wall that every single kid has busted their face on? You should drive by it on the way home.
We should take pictures over there.
We
Like
know,
literally, it's a 3-story high slide and
Oh my
it,
gosh.
there's like that much room from the concrete.
we know what happens. We know that they take them to other playgrounds to play. Just be aware that your neighborhood park isn't always the safest. You can't control what you're gonna find on that playground. If you've been there before, if it's been maintained, if they've had a CPSI go out there and check it all out for safety, odds are no.
And they should also be careful about the things they have at their home, because a lot of times the things they have at their home are not really meant for commercial use. And so, you know, they have things. I saw recently a unit that was for, I don't know, 3 to 12-year-olds, but they had kids younger than 3 enrolled and they played outside. So, you know, you have to pay attention to those kinds of things if you're doing something at home. Make sure.